He and his friends made a pact that they were going to, there was 2 or 3 of them, and they backed out. Dad was the only one that enlisted. And Dad was always one. I mean, in high school, his sophomore and junior years, Dad was lettering in, he was put into varsity ahead, and he was lettering in all of his sports. And he was very popular, and he had it really, a lot of dates and different things. So in high school, he was the, ooh, look, Bruce McDonald. But, you know, he made this pact with a couple other guys that he was in sports with, and one backed out due to medical reasons, the other backed out. Dad doesn't back down. So he entered, and he was gonna prove himself.
I was in my second year of college and ran out of money, and my brother and I enlisted on the buddy plan so he wouldn't be drafted into the infantry. That's where if you signed up, you went through basic training together. I got my draft notice my second week of basic training. So your friends and neighbors welcome you, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I played football a lot, yeah. Well, I was, for my size, I thought I was kind of an aggressive football player, but, you know, I'm a little smaller than most, but I played regular all the time. All 4 years, I was right guard all the time. I was part of a local military group. I think it was to delay how fast I was going, but since the war went so fast, it didn't delay anything.
Why did you enlist?
Well, I enlisted because I didn't know where to go when I got all hot-headed at school when I found out I wasn't going to graduate, you know, and I probably could have just relaxed and thought about it and went back and made that half credit up. And I just blamed the counselor because he was really working with me through the whole school year and told me everything was fine or I wouldn't have had that gown, you know. And then 2 weeks there trying on that gown, then have them call me up and say, well, we made a mistake and you're a half a credit behind, you'll have to make up. That just blew my mind. And so I you know, that was a thing that there was nothing at home. My mom was, you know, was home with the other kids. And so I just went up and told her. She said, now what are you going to do? And I said, well, I'm done with school. So I said, I'm going into service. You know, of course that was she cried, you know, and stuff.
So day-to-day life was up in the morning before the sun. I remember reveille, reveille, reveille. Drill instructors slamming garbage cans, just really, really loud. I talk a lot, and you have to be disciplined to stand in formation and like not talk or not look around, because that was me, and I always got in trouble because of that. I think that was the worst part, especially because I knew how to impersonate the drill instructors, and I would always impersonate the drill instructors and I'd always get in trouble. But then I think secretly the drill instructors loved it because they were like, yeah, he's got him down pat. You know, it was just kind of really cool.
The only reason I enlisted was because there was 5 of us guys from our little town of Blanchardville, Wisconsin, and went into service at the same time. Those 4 guys went in, and then they came and got me in because I couldn't sign up. I was only 17, and my mom had to sign for me. Well, God bless her, my dad, he passed away that year, and my mom said we had to go out and work and get some money. So a 17-year-old kid can't find too much of a job, really. But I found a job, and then I told her, Mom, if you sign for me to go into service, I'll send you home allotment checks. So she said, yeah, I'll sign for you.
And I had my buddies, John Bellis, he was a very good friend of mine. Well, he didn't know how to fight, he didn't smoke. He was a mild kid till he met me. I said I was the black sheep of my family. We were supposed to go in the Marine Corps together. And he couldn't wait, and I had a few bills I had to take care of. I had a car I had to take care of, and I had to make sure that I had some money in the bank to give to my dad and my grandmother so they could live for a while. So John went ahead into the Marine Corps. I told him to wait for me, and he didn't want to wait. He wanted to get out now. So, like I said, I had obligations, so he joined and went ahead before me.
How did you feel when you found out you were drafted?
Everybody else got to do it. I figured, well, you got to do what you got to do. I want to protect my family, my friends, brothers, sisters.
So I came home for the summer, and ever since I was a little kid, it was like, I guess, me and my friends would play Army. A lot of war movies came out, so all of us kind of grew up watching that kind of stuff, and I'd always wanted, I was like, man, I'll join the Army someday. Never really thought about it much after that. But I came home for the summer. College wasn't my thing. I was like, it's not gonna happen. So went down to the recruiter, talked to them all. The Army was basically the only one that said, take the test, which I'd already taken, but it expired by the time I got there. He's like, take the test again, and we'll tell you what you can do. So I took the test, the ASVAB. I don't remember what I got on it. I almost got them all, I think. So I went in there, and he was like, you can do any job you want. You pick it, it's yours. We'll guarantee it right here and now. Sign up, it's you. So, okay. Walked in, walked out. He's like, all right, January 1st or January next year, you're gone. So, came home. My dad's like, what'd you do today? Join the Army. He's like, yeah, right. I'm like, no, seriously, I joined the Army. Okay, then. He's like, guess you did that today? I'm like, yeah. My mom starts bawling. She's like, no. And I'm like, too late now. I already signed. I'm going. My dad's like, okay, you got to do what you got to do.
Number one, I was scared because I never left home before. Never left home. And that letter, on the letterhead, it says, greetings. Uncle Sam would like your service. I'm like, oh, what is this? And at that time, when you turned 18, you had to register at the post office. If you didn't register, you can get in trouble. So I registered, but I had no idea I was going to get drafted. And I got that letter. I think my mom took it harder than me. She was doing more crying than anybody. I'm like, oh man, I'm going to the Army, and it was something different.
Well, it wasn't a big deal. I wasn't happy about it, obviously. I got drafted out of school. It was my second year of college, and they drafted me. So I wasn't happy about that, but just one of the things you live with. They asked me to go, and I went, and that was it. And it was the 2nd of January, very, very cold, and we hadn't been issued any clothes yet. So they sent us out, and we had to go for breakfast that morning with the regular clothes on, and it had to been about, 0 or below 0 at that time. And I remember standing in the line waiting to get into the mess hall, and we must have waited there 15 minutes or so. So that was the first thing I thought about when I went in the Army. I began to feel that this was not going to be a bed of roses. I was going to have problems here.
I had thought about the Navy, and I had some friends that went in the Marine Corps. And as you don't put 2 and 2 together a lot. That would seem good to me. Like I said, I was going to go in the military anyway. Originally, I thought about going in the Navy because my relatives and everything were in the Navy over the years, World War II, the whole thing. But no, I went into the Marine Corps. That's somewhat naive. I guess that's what you have to say. I learned my lesson fast when I got to recruit depot, I'll tell you that.
I was one of the younger ones drafted out of Old County because they was running out of older ones and they went to the younger ones. I was 20 years old, they drafted me. When I first heard about Korea, when they drafted me in the Army, and we went into Fort Knox, Kentucky there, where they sent me down to take my training. I had 8 weeks of infantry and 8 weeks of armor. And they told us right away, you guys are being trained for the Korean War. well, that's where I went.
When do you know it's different? Well, I'll tell you what. Get off the bus and you get on the yellow footprints. There's a whole bunch of yellow footprints that are painted on the pavement, okay? And you are told to stand at attention. Now, you have no idea what attention is at that time, okay? And you're standing on these yellow footprints. And for folks who don't try to maintain a position of attention, if they're sitting there and they're looking around and they're doing this sort of stuff, out of the darkness came another drill instructor and knocked that person right flat on the ground. Poof! So yeah, I'm 23 going into boot camp, so I'm older than most of them, right? So it's pretty easy to figure out that the best thing to do is not do that. But some of those kids don't pick up too quick. So there's a lot of getting punched and hit and knocked on the ground. And so right then and there, you kind of feel this is a little different, you know.
And the one thing I remember is my homeroom teacher at Austin High School, where I was. We had homerooms that were all boys and homerooms that were all girls. We were not mixed at that time. And this instructor got out and he said, "Look around, boys. Look around at your fellow buddies there. Every one of you will be in this war." And he was right.
It was mostly the fact that I was going to be called upon to go in the Army. I didn't relish becoming involved in war, but my family had always believed that you had a service requirement, and so it wasn't as if I didn't think that it was a justifiable thing. I looked at it as it was a lottery. There was a lot of people that were able to avoid being drafted, and for whatever reasons, and some of those reasons weren't all that good, but I guess I looked at it as my duty.